Hi, I'm Randy Patterson. I'm a psychologist in Vancouver, and I'm the author of the Assertiveness Workbook, How to Be Miserable, 40 Strategies You Already Use, and the just released How to Be Miserable in Your Twenties. And this is a series called Isolated Moments of Sanity. During the COVID-19 outbreak, we're all having to do our part by reducing the opportunity for the virus to spread. But that entails a lot of change in the way that we live our lives. A huge amount of what we're used to doing gets trimmed away. Most of all, social contact and connection. So we need to figure out how to take care of ourselves, both to retain our stability and to make social distancing sustainable for as long as it's needed. So in this series, I'm going to provide some ideas that may prove helpful. Much of this is from the literature on stress or anxiety or depression, and none of it is researched in terms of how it relates to this particular situation. Because so far, there ain't any research. There will be, but it's not there yet. I'm not going to talk about how to deal with the illness itself, and keep in mind, this is not therapy. It's more like a talking self-help book focused on keeping your life together during a period of quarantine or social distancing. Just like when you're reading a self-help book, like mine. Did I mention mine? You have to take the ideas and think about whether they apply to you. I won't be offering specific mental health advice for anyone's particular situation. Okay. For each video, I'm going to provide one main tip, and I'll preface it with a short title. If you're taking notes, and who doesn't take notes on the YouTube videos that they watch, all you need is that title or slogan, and you'll probably remember the idea. So I'm hesitant to start out this series with what I think of as the most boring bit. But the reality is, this is some of the most powerful stuff that you can do. So the title or slogan is Maintain the Basics. What I'm talking about is finding a way to keep up with the fundamentals of self-care. And there are three primary areas I'll focus on. First, diet. When we get stressed out, we tend to want to soothe ourselves, so we often regress toward comfort food. And some of that's fine. But a lot of it's carb-heavy snack food or junk food. So listen, you can go easy on yourself for a while, relax some of your standards. You don't have to be too rigid. But let's not get completely out of control. If you go completely to junk food, you're going to feel worse, not better. So try to maintain some semblance of a balanced diet. Eat regular meals on something of a schedule. Doesn't have to be exactly the same schedule as usual, but if it's random, you're more likely to be snacking than dining. Some people have more time than usual because they're not working. Great! You can relax and spend a little more time on food prep and maybe learn how to make a few more things. You know, most of us have cookbooks that we've bought with great intentions, but we've never made any of the recipes. Now's your chance. And remember a standard principle of controlling your diet. If you don't want to eat it, don't have it in the house. If you buy a ton of snack food and then sit 10 feet away from it all day, you're going to eat it. It's even more inconvenient than usual right now to race out and get ice cream or chips. So not having it around will probably work even better than it usually does. Next, exercise. I know, how boring, right? And anyway, your gym's closed, or the pool, and the Olympics are off anyway, so you're not going to be on the team. So what's the point? Well, psychologists really hate this, but it's true. Exercise is one of the best ways of keeping your mood in a healthy range. It's at least as good as psychotherapy, depending on the problem. With some clients who come to see me, not all, but with some, I think, listen, if you had to choose between therapy with me or a regular exercise schedule, say 4 times a week for an hour, pick the exercise. Again, not everybody. So what I usually do is I make exercise part of the therapy. That way, people get better from the exercise and they think I did something. It's harder than usual to exercise when you're stuck at home though. But if in your area it's okay to go out for exercise, I recommend taking advantage. Walk fast or run or cycle. And if it's better to stay home, fine. Exercise anyway. In the 1970s, Jane Fonda made a fortune with home exercise videos. Why? Because people wanted them. They could go out to exercise, but they wanted to stay home. So you don't need a gym. You can get the burnt orange 1970s spandex out and do it at home. And luckily, you've got all kinds of people who can help you. On YouTube, there are hundreds of exercise videos of all types, including lots of yoga classes, if that's what you want. Plus, there are people offering live classes online. If you're used to going to a gym, maybe they've moved online too. Okay, third, sleep. I could go on and on and on about sleep. And when this is over, I probably will. So I'm not going to do it all here. Instead, I'm going to focus on one main point. Chances are, if you're usually not stuck at home, there's less structure in your life now than there used to be. Now, at this point, maybe it doesn't matter when you get up because you don't have to be at work at 8 a.m. and you don't have to catch the 7:30 train. And if you sleep in, nobody knows or cares. So you can stay up as late as you want in front of Netflix. Your sleep cycle can get kind of randomized as a result. One night you go to bed at 10, the next at 2 a.m., and then you get up at 8 or 11 or 2 in the afternoon. And those switches in timing can give you a kind of jet lag. It can be harder to get to sleep and harder to wake up. And you're drowsy during the day. Jet lag has nothing to do with jets. It's mainly about changes in bedtime and rising time. So right now, in isolation, you're not going anywhere. You might still have jet lag. So try to keep a reasonably firm sleep schedule from day to day. Same bedtime, same rising time. You'll sleep better, chances are, and you'll be wider awake during the day. If you usually have a really busy life and don't really have that much time to sleep very much, it's okay to use this time to lengthen your sleep period a bit. Now, I'm not talking about staying in bed for 12 hours, but if you know you do better with 8 or 9 hours a night, like, frankly, most people, and usually you don't have time for that, maybe now you can take that time. This might help you not only deal with the stress of distancing more effectively, you could even feel better than you do when all of this isn't happening. Okay, diet, exercise, and sleep. I know. You could have said all that yourself, probably better than me, but they really are big elements of the foundations of mental health. People go to see psychologists like me to work on their mental health and they think, geez, if I have to see somebody with a PhD, it's got to be really complicated. But you know, a lot of this isn't rocket science. Attend to your diet, your exercise, and your sleep, and everything else does tend to get easier. Okay, so that's some of the same old, same old. In coming talks, I'll focus on some other strategies, some of which may not be quite so obvious. Stay home, wash your hands, and buy my book.